Hello, good morning. I am Dr. Smita Chakote, Professor in MIMSR Medical College Latur. So today we are going to discuss a wonderful drug, that is Cyclosporine, and all of you postgraduates definitely are worked up because now exams are approaching. So here it would be a video or a podcast. You could just listen to it and recollect the drug Cyclosporine, which you could answer into your Viva question. So here I am presenting my junior resident by name.
My name is Dr. Aishwarya Gaikwad. I am a PG resident in MIMSR Medical College Latur.
Yes. Dr. Aishwarya, can you tell us a little bit of history of Cyclosporine?
So basically cyclosporine is accidentally found drug from the fungus Tolypocladum inflammatum gams, and it was accidentally found by founding the mycotic drugs, and it has weak mycotic activity and it is a most immunosuppressive agent. So it is FDA approved by therapeutic for psoriasis in 1979, and it original formulation approved for prophylaxis of organ rejection in 1983, and it is a tremendous efficacy. It has tremendous efficacy and tolerability, so it is wide. We can use as a rescue drug, and it has advantages that the drug is not teratogenic, not cytotoxic, and it will not cause bone marrow suppression. So we can use the cyclosporine as safely.
Dr. Aishwarya has already spoken about the advantages and the history. My next question to you, Dr. Aishwarya, is can you tell us the mechanism of action of Cyclosporine for the benefit of our postgraduate students?
So basically cyclosporine acts by inhibiting interleukin 2 by inhibiting calcineurin, and calcineurin inhibition leads to inhibition of proliferation of T lymphocytes. So basically it will also lead to inhibition of interferon gamma, and all these will lead to decrease in the proliferation of T lymphocytes. So the pro-inflammatory cytokines like interleukin 1, interleukin 3, 4, 5, 8 are basically decreased. So the inflammatory process will reduce.
So you mean to say that this is the drug which is a miracle drug which is going to act in the T cell disorder and all the interleukin gamut, it is going to suppress that. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
To you, Dr. Aishwarya, is can you just elaborate how does this drug metabolize? Where does it go? What happens to this drug in the body?
So basically cyclosporine is mainly metabolized in the liver by the enzyme CYP3A4, and it is mainly excreted through bile and via feces, and only 6% of cyclosporine is excreted through urine. So we can safely use in renal dysfunction and
So basically we need to be cautious when there is a liver disorder or because it is going to be excreted from the kidneys. So these are the two organs. Yes, Dr. Aishwarya, my next question to you, what could be the dermatological indication? Now definitely as you said that it is used for organ transplant during that time, but we would definitely as dermatologists would like to know in which are the dermatological condition which is FDA approved where we can use cyclosporine.
So the cyclosporine is FDA approved for the psoriasis, mainly psoriasis, and in other countries it is also approved for the atopic dermatitis. So we can use the drug off-labelly for papilloscomus disorders like lichen planus, vesiculobullous disorders like pemphigus, pemphigoid, linear IgA disease, then granulomatous diseases like granuloma annulare, and then autoimmune disorders like dermatomyositis, lupus erythematosus, and scleroderma. In dermatitis like atopic dermatitis, as I have said that in other countries we can use for the atopic dermatitis. Then for photosensitive disorders like actinic keratitis, we can use cyclosporine.
So in urticaria we can use?
In urticaria, in cold urticaria, in chronic urticaria, in solar urticaria, we can use cyclosporine. In Stevens-Johnson syndrome, in toxic epidermolytic necrosis, we can use cyclosporine.
So wonderful. For psoriasis, primarily I would like to add, see when the psoriasis is very extensive, definitely it is a need of the day. Second is, if you have pustular psoriasis, again it is a need of the day. And the third thing, very commonly, Steven-Johnson syndrome and toxic epidermal necrolysis, it is a miracle wonder drug. So these are the very common indications. Practically, we have been using it. Each drug has its effect as well as its adverse reaction. So we would like to know, Dr. Aishwarya, what are the adverse reaction of this wonder miracle drug, which definitely gives very good results in psoriasis? Can you tell us?
So the cyclosporine has mainly drug is mainly nephrotoxic and hypertensive. So basically hypertension is secondary to renal dysfunction. So mainly cyclosporine causes nephrotoxicity. So we have to monitor creat levels for the proper functioning of the kidney. And other side effects like gastrointestinal side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal discomfort. Then neurological side effects are tremors, paresthesia, hyperesthesia, which are self-limiting. Then musculocutaneous side effects are musculoskeletal side effects are myalgia, lethargy. Then mucocutaneous side effects are hyperplasia, gingival hyperplasia, then hypertrichosis. Then lab abnormalities like serum electrolytes, hyperkalemia, hypomagnesemia, hyperuricemia. So these are the side effects of cyclosporine.
So do you think, Dr. Aishwarya, that if a patient comes to me, how do I monitor? I mean, do I need to check the blood pressure for 2-3 days, and how do I go about?
So basically we have to follow the guidelines. So first we have to monitor blood pressure, 2 records at 1 day apart, and creat levels. So these are the baseline, so creat levels and blood pressure monitoring. So according to that we have to monitor every week creat levels. Then
so initially in the first month we monitor creatinine level and we'll also check the blood pressure. Now this creatinine we do every fortnight for the first month, and after that we can do it 4 to 6 weeks. That is approximately every month you can do it for the further follow-up period as long as cyclosporine is given to them. Do you agree with it?
yes.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Aishwarya, we would like to know, how do we give the dosage of cyclosporine? Because it is available in tablet form as 25 mg, 50 mg and 100 mg. And it is also available to us in the liquid form. So how would you go about with the giving the dosages?
So basically we have to see the clinical condition of the patient according to severity. So maximum dose is 5 mg per kg per day, and low dose is 3 mg per kg per day. So according to the severity of the clinical condition we have to adjust the dose. And the dose is firstly given for 3 months, and then we have to see the clinical effects, and according to we have to taper or increase the dose by 1 mg per kg per day.
How long can we give cyclosporine, Dr. Aishwarya?
So according to FDA guidelines we can 2 years, and practically we can give the cyclosporine with RFT monitoring for 3 to 4 months.
That is a good point. Dr. Aishwarya, if a patient is overweight, how do we go about?
So we have to consider the ideal body weight of the patient, not the actual weight, because if we consider the actual weight of the patient, the dose will go into exceed. So we have to use the principle ideal weight.
Normally, all the patients that come to our clinic will be on multiple drugs. They are never on a single drug. So when there is a plethora of drug, what are the kind of adverse reaction that we keenly need to have eye on?
So basically cyclosporine has drug interactions with lot of drugs. So first antibiotics. In antibiotics macrolides, aminoglycosides will lead to increase cyclosporine blood level. So we have to manage the patient which on macrolides and aminoglycosides. Then antifungals, in antifungals ketoconazole, itraconazole and fluconazole will interact with cyclosporine. Then in anticonvulsant phenytoin, carbamazepine and phenobarbital will interact with cyclosporine. Then
these are the 3 families which are going to increase the cyclosporine level. So we need to be cautious at this point.
Yes. Then fluoroquinolones like ciprofloxacin will also increase the cyclosporine in blood levels.
Now what are the drugs which are going to have a nephrotoxic effect?
So basically, aminoglycosides like gentamicin, tobramycin will lead to increase the risk of renal toxicity, and antifungals like amphotericin B also lead to increase the risk of renal toxicity.
So that was a wonderful short discussion on cyclosporine. I'm very sure that the postgraduates who are listening to us are going to get the great benefit. So thank you, Dr. Aishwarya, for highlighting such a wonderful drug, and stay tuned with us because we are going to come with a series of drugs, and just listen to it, and it is going to help you in your practice, and yes, definitely to pass your exams. Have a great day. God bless.